Yo, what's going on, guys? We're comparing SCHD versus JEPI, and we're going to be comparing them on a whiteboard later in this video. But first, I just wanted to show you a little bit about the stock prices and how they're doing and how the market right now is actually favoring JEPI. Because if we look year to date, so year to date, JEPI is actually only down 3.2%. And if you factor in the dividend, they're probably positive. And SCHD is down 7.7%. And that's true if we go to the 6 months or even the 3 month. We actually see JEPI is outperformed. But if we zoom out and we go to the past 5 years, like this is when JEPI was incepted, we can see that SCHD grew a lot more. But as we know right now, the market isn't growing really. It's actually been pretty flat over the past year or two. And that's actually benefiting JEPI quite a bit with their covered call strategy. And over the past 2 years, it's actually been a great investment because you collect the monthly income and you've had a very stable price that's actually slightly up all time if you look at it. But yeah, now we're actually going to go compare the two different ETFs on a whiteboard so we can see the difference in the dividend yield. All right, so now we're comparing SCHD versus JEPI on a whiteboard. I've duplicated everything on each side, so it's really easy to understand, except for SCHD does quarterly payments. So I've taken the past 5 quarters and averaged the dividend together. So you should on average get 0.65 cents. But remember, SCHD is a dividend grower, so I assume this to grow. So that's not even factoring in how much SCHD will grow their dividend. But with JEPI, they've actually reduced their dividend, but the stock price has gone up. They have, on average, pay monthly 0.342. So that means this has a 7.69% dividend yield as of right now. This is the current stock price. And this one has a 3.74% dividend yield. Of course, these are all subject to change as SCHD loves to grow their dividend as their top holdings do. But I will point out later how SCHD actually has a huge issue with its top holding, which is like 5% of the portfolio of SCHD, which we'll look at later. But also we can look at the expense ratios where SCHD is a winner here. They only have a 0.06% expense ratio and JEPI has a 0.35. And what this expense ratio means is every single year they'll take 0.35% of your original investment out of your account. But overall, the assets under management though are safe. They both have, billions of dollars of customer funds investing into it. So yeah, now we're going to go look at the differences in the stock prices and see what is the actual issue with the SCHD's top holding that could be a little bit of a concern. All right, so we just compared it on a whiteboard. Now I wanted to show you one of the risks I found with SCHD. And if we actually go to its fund and we look at its asset allocation, its number one weighting, which is Verizon, is actually kind of at risk in my opinion, potentially a dividend cut. Actually, in the most recent quarter, they actually just reported earnings. So we're going to go look at the financials and see how good of a stock this actually is. So the market cap is $150 billion, all right? So $150 billion, but they have $285 billion of debt. And now the ratio is down 2% year over year. But let's look at this number down here because this is what they pay out the dividend from. So $10.78 billion. So that's pretty good. And how much does their dividend cost them of that? It costs $2.74 billion. Now remember, they have total debt like right here, $147 billion. How much cash do they have? They actually have $4.21 billion of cash. They used to have, whoa, in 2021, they were chilling on over 10, $20 billion of cash. But let's see if interest rates are affecting them. So this is how much they're paying in interest. Whoa! This is how much they're paying in interest. They paid $1.35 billion in interest, which is the highest. It's basically, yeah, that's the highest it's ever been. And yo, I think this number might be getting a little bit worse because this is what I really pay attention to. How much are the interest rates affecting the company? And as we can see, it's starting to affect Verizon. But at the end of the day, they can still easily afford their dividend with how much cash flow they're bringing in. But look at this, the total common shares outstanding, they actually aren't diluting the shareholder. So it's the same from 1 year ago, 4.2 billion shares outstanding, total common shares outstanding. And here's their goodwill. But yeah, that's kind of my only risk I found with one of their top holdings, which is Verizon. As we can see, the stock price is not done good at all. It's way below the 2020 pandemic fears. And the actual dividend yield on this one is 7.4%. So that could be a lot of SCHD's dividend. I like all the other stocks. Like I love Amgen, AbbVie. I love Broadcom. I remember Broadcom used to be their largest holding, but this one went up like crazy. I think they might have done some rebalancing and sold some of this stock at really high prices. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on SCHD. Now I wanted to show you JEPI and show you a little bit of the differences because remember, the top holding for SCHD was 4.4% or something like that. The top holding for JEPI is only 1.7%, and I've actually made a list here on Webull of all of the stocks inside JEPI. So these are all very popular stocks. They have a really high market cap as well. As we can see, we probably recognize a lot of these names. A lot of them are in the S&P 500. And actually, some of these don't pay a dividend, but a lot of them do. So some of JEPI's dividend actually comes from the dividends that these companies pay, but then like 80% of it comes from the covered call strategy. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on any of these ETFs. Do you own either one? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Nathan Robert, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Watch these two videos up here, or you can't watch both, but click one.